Hi everybody, my name is Michael. I'm the hat maker for Mad Love Hatters, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to brush up and get your hats ready for a day out. I'm going to be using the first hat I've ever made. It's one of my favorites. It has faded over the years, but I like it that way. And I'm going to show you guys how I prepare my hats to go out for the day. Let's get started. All right, a couple things that you're going to need in order to brush up your hat is a boar's hair brush. You can get these online, and they're about $40 or so. You can get them on eBay. I'll probably have some added to my website here in a little bit, just so I can start supplying some things so you guys keep your stuff nice. But you want something that's nice and soft, it's not too hard, and you're gonna need something that produces a little bit of steam. I'm using a Jiffy steamer right here. It's my trusty Jiffy steamer, and that is what I'm going to be using. You could also use, an iron if you have an iron, or even a tea kettle, something that gives you a little bit of steam. I've even done it in the shower, like while I'm taking a shower, it's steamy in there. I hang my head in there, and then afterwards I kind of just brush it up. So we're gonna go over kind of the first little bit. We're gonna go over a couple of rules of how to steam and brush your hat to get it ready to go out, and make sure that that you're following these rules so you don't mess up your hats. Okay, rule number one is that you never ever steam a wet hat. So if you are wearing your hat in the rain, you don't go and start steaming it. It can cause an issue with the fur felt. Some of them will shrink, or it just is not good. If your hat is wet, you do not want to steam it. What you want to do is, when my hat's wet, I take it off, obviously, and then I pop out the shape of the top of it, and then I hang it someplace, and then I let it dry naturally. And then afterwards, after it's all dry, I will then put the dents back in it, and then I will wear it. Also, if the safest place for you to dry your hat is on your head, you keep it on your head till it's like pretty dry. That's really good too. Also, sometimes you're going to sweat a whole bunch into the leather sweatband. If that gets really, really wet or saturated and you want to dry that up, all you really do is you lift up the sweatband and you just place it like that, and it'll let the sweatband dry. And then once it's dry, go ahead and put it back in, just like that. You flip it back down, and you can go ahead and you can put it back on your head. So, a couple things you're going to need. Again, a brush, a nice soft brush. This is a hat brush, and this is what they look like. They kind of have a curvature to kind of go with the brims and with the crowns. You're going to need something that produces steam, like a steamer, or an iron, or even a kettle from your kitchen. All right? Here I am. I have my hat. I'm going to get the brim steamed up just lightly, and then what I'm going to do with the weight of the hat, I'm just going to place it on the table, and I'm just going to make sure that it's even, and that's it. I'm just going to make sure it's even. See this, how this is kind of up a little bit from putting it on the wall, or just putting it next to my bag. I'm going to put the weight of the hat on there, and I'm going to try to just let it sit there and even itself out. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. It's literally the weight of the hat. I'm just making sure that it's all touching the surface. And then when I turn it over, much flatter, right? Much flatter. See this right here? So let's work on this. See how this is kind of lifted up right there? We're gonna work on that. if I pull it down, see how it just kind of stays down? And this is a really great quality hat, this beaver felt, so I don't really need a lot of steam. It kind of is almost, I can almost like shape it without using the steam. I'm going to put it on the table, and then when I show you guys, see how much more flat that is? Still got a little bit of a curve on there, and I just keep working it. Just keep working it. I push it down, and then I put it on the table to flatten it out, and that gives me that curve in the brim, as well as the flat edge to keep that pop going. Okay, again, see it's kind of up in front. I'm gonna give it a little bit more steam. I'm gonna push it, and then I'm gonna place it on the table to flatten it out. That's what I'm gonna try to do. Let me get this out of the way. That's my microphone, that's my light cable. Just like that. I go back, it's not quite flat. I want to make sure that it keep the curve in there. there. And I just keep, and I take my time. If you get your hat too saturated, it can really mess it up. So what you want to do is if it gets too wet, you just let it sit there for a little bit and you just come back to it. I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know about how far to kind of go with it. Let's see, I got a little kick up in the back here. Don't really want that kick up. I want it to kind of be somewhat even with everything else. And again, I add a little bit of that steam. Put it right there. I give it some pressure from the top, push it out. And it kind of makes it flat. Right. So now, once I get it to the point where I like it, I've done brushing it, I've brushed the brim, and what I'm doing is I'm holding it in my hand and I'm putting my palm against the brim, and then I'm kind of not only brushing it, but I'm also almost ironing it. I'm keeping it flat to the edge. I'm watching the edge while I'm brushing it. I'm trying to keep it flat. If I find a part is like a little too stiff, I'll come back. I'll just give it a little bit of that steam, and I'm brushing on the inside, closer to the crown. This is the crown. The crown is the bulbous part on the top, right? And then obviously the brim is the brim. Everybody should know what a brim is, and if you don't, it's the part that shades you from the sun. Here I go. There you go. And that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty even. All right. If I have a feather, I take my feather. You see how raggedy that looks? Look at that. It's been in the wind a lot. I put in the steam. I give it a quick steaming. It's gonna, all the feather bits and pieces are going to kind of come up. And then I just go like that, and I get it back together. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it with the steam again, and then I'm gonna shake it out. And that gives me a nice feather, right? You can see all of the little bits and pieces. And give it a quick shake out, and that's it. And then when I want to put that back in, go ahead and put that back in right here. I like to put it here. Some people put it in the knot and all that stuff. I like to put it right off to the side. And then let's get back to the shape. I'm a big center dent pinch guy. I also do telescoping, which is like when you can see like your head pushed through it a little bit, or a gambler. I like those too. But this hat I keep as a center dent with a pinch. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it a little bit more steam. Once it's kind of dried, I'm going to get it right down the middle. And this has been here before, so I can just kind of push down the old dents of where it is, and I give it that center dent. Right? I kind of make sure that it's as even as possible. I put my hand on the inside. And I sort of try to make it as even as I can. The front is going to be a little bit higher than the back, as you can see. And then I take these two fingers, my two middle fingers, I put them on the inside, and then I steam both sides of the crown. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on the indents on the side where the dents are, and I'm going to try to keep the front a little bit bigger. After a while it does start to collapse from me grabbing it there. And I'm going to try to keep that sort of bigger, and I go like that. And there it is. A center dent with a pinch, a brushed up fedora, ready for a day out. I even take the brush and I give it a couple of good brushes while it's in the shape, just to kind of get, again, the nap and get those fingerprints out of there. And then bam, there you are, ready for another day out, right? So ready to go out and have a good time. All right, this is Michael. I'm the hat maker. That's how you brush up a hat. You get it ready to go out. All right, make sure that if you like this content, I'm going to continue to create how to take care of your hats, how to restyle your hats, how to maybe change the bands on them. Go ahead, subscribe or like. Really helps me out. Thanks so much. Have a good one, guys. And keep wearing those hats. Keep that head protected.